Hello, it's me, GhostCritic, with another Thursday stroke Friday, or whenever you're going to watch it, comic review show. Before I get into this week's comics, I need to do what I forgot to do in my vlog from Sunday, and that is do my monthly digital code giveaway raffle. Every month I give away all the digital codes that were in the comics that I collect, so they're all Marvel. Last month, because there were so many and I gave away so many, I split it into first, second and third prize. This month there is one prize, so only one person will win. What will you win? What is in that digital code package? Well, you'll get Space Punisher 2, you'll get whichever number Incredible Hulk was, I haven't written that one down, you'll get the Daredevil annual, you'll get Amazing Spider-Man issues 691 and 692, and remember, issue 692 was that big bulky affair, so that's pretty good to have. Uncanny X-Force 29, the third part of the Man-Thing mini-series, Wolverine and the X-Men issue 15, Ultimate X-Men 15, and Uncanny X-Force issue 30 as well. So that is your package. To have a chance of winning those, all you need to do is in the comment box down below put digital for the win. That's digital for the win, and you must be a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, you won't get put in the raffle. I will give that, I'll give it a week. I'll draw the results in next week's review show. So that'll get you to all come back. And on with the reviews. And yes, September, it was DC's issue 0 month. Everything is on hold, so whatever stories you were into at the time, they've stopped. You're going to have to wait yet another month to get to the end or start a new story arc. And we have a kind of origins line in these issue zeros. And I have to say, I picked up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them this week, and I can't say that I was particularly excited about any of them. I think they have missed a big opportunity here. So I'm going to go through these pretty quickly, unfortunately, because I really just don't have a great deal to say about it. So, Batman Detective Comics issue 0, and we have Bruce back in the day going to train under the tutelage of Shihan Matsuda somewhere up in the Himalayas, and it's basically a book about betrayal. It's yes, you've got in the whole training schedules and all that kind of stuff, but it's a book about betrayal. It's a book about do you completely embrace the dark, or do you let people close to you? There's analogies to his parents dying in there, but to be fair, it was also obvious what was going to happen. You could see it a mile away. Not very original. Nice artwork by Tony Daniel, I'll applaud you for that. And the story, while is predictable and you know what is going to happen, it's still an entertaining read, but nothing to go, wow, that was a great 0 issue. I'm glad that has been added to the Batman history. Swamp Thing, issue 0. And if you'd read the annual of Swamp Thing that came out a couple of months ago, 2-3 months ago, we're back with that Swamp Thing. It's not Alec Holland, it's the one that preceded him, though you do find out how Alec Holland, well, was chosen as the next Swamp Thing, because we know it took him a while to actually take on the mantle of the Swamp Thing. But with Swamp Thing and with Animal Man, which I'll come to next, this isn't so much a story about these two characters of the titles. This is more about the Rot trying to, you know, buck the balance between, you know, the green, the red and the rot, and how they have manipulated each time a new kind of avatar of the green or the red has come in, how they've attempted to destroy it and to tip the balance in their favour. I have to say, I'm a little bit disappointed. There's no big huge change on the way Alec Holland kind of becomes, or is soon to become, the Swamp Thing here than was originally in the pre-52 universe. The artwork by Kano in here, they attempt to do what Yannick Paquette has done in the past with the breakdown of, you know, the panels, making them look a lot different, but I don't know, it's all of it is very clean and precise, so it doesn't quite work. You still have these weird kind of branches or bones or whatever separating all the panels to make it look kind of funky and interesting to look and read, but like I said, it's a bit too clean, a bit too precise to be as effective as past issues of this has been. So again, a little bit disappointed. And so of course Swamp Thing, what comes after that? It's Animal Man, issue 0. Again, this is not so much about Animal Man. Again, the rot. We kick off with a previous avatar of the red, who is quickly dispatched by the rot at the beginning, and this kind of leaves the totems of the red in a bit of a quandary, because they know who the next avatar is going to be. They just haven't been born yet, and there has to be an avatar to keep the balance addressed. So they make a temporary one, and this is where this new origin, or a kind of twisted version of Animal Man's origin, and how the totems and the kind of aliens messing around with his DNA, how Buddy perceives it, but this is a manipulation by the totems to make him their new Animal Man, their new avatar, or temporary avatar of the red. There's not really a lot more to say about this. There's no grit in there. There's no kind of, I really needed to know that, because the whole alien thing, we've already been given that information in previous issues. While yes, we get to see a different Animal Man that came before Buddy Baker, did we really need to? Because we assume that yes, there have been one previous to them, and unless you're going to flesh out that story, I don't see repeating it again is worth it, or has any relevance. Sorry. So yeah, again, missed opportunity. Green Lantern, issue 0, and we have our Baz. Baz, oh, what an awful name. Sorry for anyone who's called Baz, but it's just really 80s. Come on. Green Lantern. Yeah, well, we've got Baz growing up from a child, and this is post 9/11. And obviously, due to the colour of his skin, he's kind of perceived in a different way. And while our character Baz here isn't the most honest, the most straightest of guys, he is a car thief. But in one of the vans he steals, there is a bomb. And then from that, the story progresses, and he is mistaken for a terrorist. And somewhere along the line, yeah, he gets the green ring, and it's Hal and Sinestro's ring, which has got the whole kind of Arat going on it. So hopefully we'll find out a little bit more why that has kind of, it's not working to its best ability, let's put it that way. But it just seemed a little bit too pat. It was, let's throw him in this very awkward position, and then we'll tell him you've got the potential to overcome fear. Have a ring. And that is pretty much it. And then there's that very last page, which is probably the only bit worth reading, and it is just a page, but we have Hal and Sinestro, and they are in a very dark place. Literally. It's dark. It's black. Oh, it's black. Finally, for the issue zeros, and was actually the one I was looking forward to the most, Phantom Stranger, issue 0. Again, what a shame. What a shame. Phantom Stranger. He's a character whose origins have always been kind of a bit fluffy. We've not really known his true origin. But at the same time, many people have, many writers have put certain different kinds of origins onto the Phantom Stranger. And they have always had this kind of religious bent to them. Whether he's some sort of kind of fallen angel, but yes, there is always that kind of religious element to it. In this book, there's no kind of beating around the bush. They're saying basically, I can't see how you can interpret it any other way, but the Phantom Stranger is Judas Iscariot. You have a little bit of a recap from if you bought if you managed to get a copy of Justice League, the Free Comic Book Day issue, and you saw our character Phantom Menace, Pandora, and the other guy who probably is going to turn out to be the Question, being punished by a council of mages and magicians. And that kind of recaps that a little bit and kind of develops a little bit in relation to our Phantom Stranger. And he has done the ultimate betrayal. And given that one of the mages throws 30 silver pieces at our character, and they become the necklace around the Phantom Stranger's neck, the 30 silver pieces was the payment Judas Iscariot was given to betray Jesus Christ. It's all there, folks. And for the rest of the story, you see him going through the ages, and at one point, suddenly there is this omnipotent voice. God? But, and he sets him on his first kind of mission of redemption. And this is where we meet Jim Corrigan. My heart kind of went, oh, Jim Corrigan, because we know who Jim Corrigan eventually becomes. And yes, I don't think I need to really spoil it anymore if I've mentioned Jim Corrigan, because, okay, I will. The Spectre appears. And I'm sure this is his first appearance within our New 52. And I personally am quite excited about that because he is one of my favourite DC magic-based characters, or at least kind of the paranormal. Again, I thought the writing was a bit clunky from Dan Didio. It didn't seem to have any kind of depth or, again, any grit to it, and it just seemed to be very much by the numbers. Given it is written by Dan Didio, and the last he did was OMAC, which lasted no time at all. I don't have much hope of this lasting either, unless Dan Didio can manage to take his hands off the rein and give it the writing to someone else. It's a shame. So that was it for the issue zeros, but I did manage. There are other comics that weren't DC related. One independent, and that was Mind the Gap, issue 4. Lovely cover. And the story is a lot more to do with Ellie and what she basically can do in this kind of limbo, the garden, coma-induced state she's in, especially this room with the blank walls and more flashbacks, more clues apparently there. But it also kind of touches on what is actually real in this limbo area. Are these people that are around her just her constructing them? I don't know. We're 4 issues in, and while I understand the concept of the book in a sense that we've got this kind of mystery, conspiracy, whodunit kind of deal, I don't honestly know where else it's got to go. Who knows what McCann's got in store for us, but I would like to think by issue 4 I would have had a glimpse of this by now. There is a whole... I don't think it helps at the moment that there is a wealth of characters in here. There are a lot of people to keep up with and their kind of relationships with each other. It's one of those books that I think needs to have to go back and reread again. It's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. I'd just like an idea of where this is going beyond the whodunit. Amazing Spider-Man issue 693, and yes, Alpha has taken over the cover from the previous. He's put a nice big movie poster in front of all Spidey's incarnations, and this is basically who Alpha is. He's all about the power and none of the responsibility that comes with it, whether before or after the super heroic event. And this indeed puts all of his family at risk. He gets kidnapped. We've got Jackal in there, so when you've got Jackal, you know there's going to be cloning aplenty. This really, again, doesn't show Alpha, this Andrew character, in a very good light at all. Again, there are those kind of comparisons, but flipped on its over to the kind of dark side from what Spider-Man Peter Parker had when he was younger, and just realising his power and his responsibility. It was an entertaining enough issue. Ramos playing up with the stretchy Spidey, making everything look very dynamic and kinetic. But it's still, there's something missing. But I'm enjoying it more than I have. But I think that's more to do with the art. And finally, so there is no pick of the week this week. While you would think this could potentially have been, there is a reason why it wasn't. And that was issue 15 of The Punisher. Rachel, at the end of the last issue, had finally got her revenge and killed Stephanie Gerrard from the Exchange after bringing the fight right into the Exchange building. But this has led to Christian, her Stephanie's partner, business partner, but he likes her. This has tipped him over the edge, and he is now seeking revenge for his could-have-been lover. And to do that, he's going to frame the Punisher. So we have a huge office building full of employees who are going to meet an untimely death. So we've got Punisher and Rachel trying to make their way out of the Exchange. Clemens and Bolt turn up with a big SWAT team to find out what the hell is going on in there and stop all the massacre that Christian's doing in there. And within all the chaos and the tear gas and the spraying of bullets, a character dies. It's kind of hinted at in the sense that making a bit too much of a deal about something. I don't want to spoil it, But as you read it, you think, oh, where's that come from? And oh, right, okay, by the end of it. The reason it's not pick of the week is it was a very, very quick read. I was surprised I got through this so quickly, which isn't normally the case. I do tend to kind of, not necessarily labour over every page, but I take my time. It's nice to have Chetto's art back on there. Certainly makes a difference to the enjoyment. But I'm afraid there wasn't a pick of the week. Maybe you've got one. Tell me what that was. So that's the end of this week's review show. Subscribe. There's a button up there. Give it a big thumbs up. Put a comment down below. Don't forget, if you want those digital codes, put a comment in there. Digital for the win in a week's time. In the next Thursday review show, I'll pull a name out of a hat.